It's back to the streets of the Motor City. The energy is electric. The Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix returns to its original home, downtown Detroit. Indy cars will be roaring along the riverfront in a street circuit that turns Jefferson Avenue into a racetrack.
This weekend, it's all about speed and the thrill of victory. Tonight, it's all about the fun. The who's who of IndyCar racing is in Detroit to kick off one massive party. It's the grand premiere, and it starts now. Hi there, and welcome to the Grand Premiere. Detroit is the place to be this weekend, and this will be the center of all of the action. Sky 4 is live, taking us down the racetrack. For the first time in 3 decades, IndyCar drivers will be winding through the streets of downtown. And while many of the same drivers are back for this year's Grand Prix, this track is brand new for everyone.
All right, now a live look at the place every IndyCar driver's dreaming about, the winner's circle. That would be Sunday, and we can't think of a more classic Detroit backdrop than the riverfront and the Wren Center.
That's gorgeous. Well, right now, we are just a few streets away at Campus Martius, and the PWC Grand Premiere brings together the racing community and all of its supporters to raise money for people and places in Detroit.
Well, thanks for being with us. I'm Bernie Smolovitz. This is an important event in Detroit because it's bringing all these people and all of this money into the city is basically the easiest way to say this.
And let's just say it, Bernie, racing is back in downtown Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
You're hearing the cars going around here, and it's just the electricity that's in the air tonight is really wonderful to be a part of.
Unbelievable, yeah. This thing started in '82 here downtown, went to the island, and now it's come back and it's terrific.
Okay, so
It
can
really
I
is.
tell you that I was here in the 80s? My dad took us downtown watching Formula One when it was down through the streets of Detroit. It was the coolest thing in the world.
But you were minus 11
That's
at that
right,
time, weren't
exactly.
you?
We're not aging me, right? You know, Jamie Edmonds is also here with us tonight. She is just across Campus Martius. Let's check in with her. Hey, Jamie.
Hey there, guys. What a beautiful night for racing earlier today and for this party right now. I cannot wait to talk about it with you and get into some more racing details coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Jamie. Okay, so we've had a lot of commotion going on here. It's a beautiful night, but joining us now is Bud Denker, and he is the president of Penske Corporation. Bud, and you've helped put on this race. It's really wonderful to see you.
Well, you know, what was an idea just 18 months ago has now come reality. We're racing again on our streets of Detroit for 32 years, and we're the Motor City, and we're back again. The buzz around downtown is just contagious, and we're so happy to be back here.
Yeah.
You hinted at this last year out on the island. Am I not correct, or is my memory that bad?
Well, we talked about it, but we hadn't really confirmed things, and now we've got a track, we have a racetrack with an international crossing in the middle of it, and a General Motors World Headquarters also in the middle of it. It's just amazing what we've done down there. A lot of things going on, a dual pit lane, first time we've ever had a dual pit lane in the history of motorsports. The drivers are anxious, and I'm excited. So it's going to be an amazing 185 miles an hour today the cars reached on Jefferson legally.
We've done that. You've done that. What are you talking about?
On the lodge,
Yes,
Bernie, only
exactly.
on the
I'm
lodge.
sorry.
So tell me about a little bit of the logistics, Bud, because again, making sure that you can have a smooth racetrack.
Yeah.
We've all driven streets like this. What did you have to undergo to be able to have the race like the way it is now?
Well, you know, our cars require 1/8 of an inch clearance, so that low to the ground, right? So we had to fix the roads. And by fixing the roads, we had to do it with the city, who owns part of the circuit. General Motors owns Atwater Street, and the state owns Jefferson Avenue. Jefferson Avenue alone has 160 manhole covers. They all had to be repaired. They all had to be welded down, because our cars will suck them off the pavement. So just some of the complexities when you put a race downtown, but hey, we've done it. We had a great day today. Today was the appetizer for 3 races tomorrow and 3 races on Sunday.
When you first brought this up, what was the reaction of the people? Did they want to come, or was there a lot of pushback?
No pushback at all. In fact, when we went out to City Council, the mayor said, get out and talk to the community. So Michael Montray and I visited 1,000 people within 60 days. We were ready for a lot of pushback, but because we're not closing any businesses down, because we're bringing vibrancy to downtown, look at around us, what's going on down here. The hotels are all filled up, the bars are filled, that businesses are going to be impacted by it. Not adversely, but positively. No pushback at all, Bernie. And still to this day, despite some traffic intrusions, no problems.
But laying this out must have been unbelievable. I mean, my head blows off if exit is closed somewhere. Putting this together is unbelievable. But that's just me.
And it required a lot of patience from a lot of people. But today, the cooperation of Mayor Duggan, City Council President Sheffield, our governor, they've all been amazing. General Motors, of course. If it wasn't for Mark Royce and Mary Barra, we wouldn't have this event, and we can't forget that, Lear. So we've got 70 chalets, an amazing chalet. We had 23 last year on Belle Isle. Talk about people positively want to be here. The corporations want to be here as well.
All right, talking about coming off of an amazing weekend from the Indy 500 win for Team Penske. What are the drivers talking about when they've all got to tackle the same new course?
Well, at the Indy 500, you're moving the steering wheel like this. On downtown Detroit, moving it like this.
Okay.
Back, right, back, left. It's a tough racetrack. It's a bumpy racetrack still. So Joseph Newgarden, of course, won the Indy 500 for Roger Penske.
Yeah.
His 19th win. There's no better gift you can give Roger Penske than an Indy 500 win. So the momentum of Chevrolet coming back here with a win, Roger Penske, Team Penske, Joseph Newgarden. I'm still getting goosebumps by talking about all that. So a lot of momentum to come here after an amazing race last year. The world's going to be watching us. 200 countries are going to be having this race broadcast. That's great for our city.
What's next for you guys? You do everything. What is next? Give us a little hint. Something. Throw us a bone. Anything. Lie about something. Just tell us.
Well, we're going to learn from this experience, right? First time we've been down here. First time we've done it. Michael Montry and the team worked until 2 o'clock last night. They were back here at 5 o'clock. It's tough the first time around. It's difficult. It's complex, as you said, Bernie. So we're going to make it better. We're going to make it better because we're going to listen to the customer. Customers that come down here, the race teams, the race drivers. We're going to listen. We're going to learn. The media is going to give us some feedback. And next year will even be better.
So far, A+.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing to continue to grow the sport. And for some people, this will be their first exposure, and the free pre-day and being able to be so close to the action and see this is only good for racing.
Well, I'm using the word event. This is not a race. This is an event.
Yeah.
We have Big Boy in concert tonight. We have Steve Aoki in concert tomorrow night. Guess what? For free. You can come down on Hart Plaza. You can come down on Jefferson Avenue, watch racing for free. Where else can you do that? First time it's ever been done. So we're expecting massive crowds tomorrow. It's going to benefit everybody downtown. So it's an event. If you, like you said it, may not be a race enthusiast, come down, you're going to have a great time.
All right, Bud Danker, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations on all that has happened, and we cannot wait to take the weekend with you. All right, let's head on over to Jamie. Hey, Jamie.
Hey there, guys. I'm joined by Jim Campbell. Jim, I can't keep track. What's your title?
No, you know what? We love performance and motorsports in our group. That's what we focus on, and we're part of a large team that's going to be preparing to race all weekend long.
Chevrolet, General Motors.
Yeah, Chevrolet and our General Motors team will be here. There are basically 4 series racing, and Chevy competes in almost all of them, so we're going to have cars running all weekend long. Really proud to be part of this event. We love it because this track is really right around our headquarters, the Renaissance Center. So it's going to be fantastic. 1.7 miles, 9 turns. Bud talked about that double pit lane. It's fantastic.
That's really cool. I saw that today. And I asked the drivers, how are you going to know who's pulling out and when? He goes, we won't.
We won't. It's going to be very exciting. But what I also love is that straight down Jefferson where you go by Spirit Plaza, the Joe Louis Fist, come at Griswold, and you have that hairpin turn. There's going to be a lot of passing there. And there's so many great places to watch the race for free. The event sold out on Sunday, but there's a lot of places to watch for free along the track as well.
And you're right on top of the track. Like, that's pretty cool. It's loud. Really. You're right next to it. You're in performance racing. My question is, these guys have not seen this track until, well, they've seen it on the simulator, but not driven it until today. There's going to be some hairy points, right, if they don't know it like they knew Belle Isle.
Right. Well, we use simulation tools for the drivers to learn the track, and they've all been in for hours and hours, but it's nothing like being here. They learned a lot today in the practice. They'll hone their skills in the practice in the morning, IndyCar, and then they'll qualify tomorrow for IndyCar, and we'll race on Sunday. So they're going to learn a lot. The track is really technical, it's fast, and they're going to learn a lot. They've never been here, so it's going to be really fun to watch them.
But we talked about, IndyCar is the premier, and they're the Sunday race, but there are a lot of races going on all weekend long with a lot of premier drivers here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have the IMSA Pilot Challenge that's coming. We got Camaros in there, Mustangs. We have the Trans Am Series, that's kind of the muscle car. Mustang, Camaro, and Challengers all battling each other. We love that. And then, of course, in IndyCar, we race half the field races with Chevy, half with Honda. And we have the amazing drivers. The defending winner last year, Will Power, he's here.
Best name in racing.
Oh, I love it. Joseph Newgarden just won the Indy 500 last weekend. He's here. He's won it once before. He wants to win again. Scott McLaughlin, they're all Team Penske Chevy drivers. Plus you have Scott Dixon, a fantastic driver, and then everyone knows Elio Castroneves. He won his first race in IndyCar right here in Detroit, and I saw him today. He's excited to be here.
Well, thank you, Jim, for joining me. What a fun event. I saw the hors d'oeuvres passing us by, so you should go get after it.
Thanks so much. Thanks,
Thank you,
Jamie.
Jim. Christy, Bernie, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Jamie. We have a lot more coming up here on the Grand Premiere tonight as Bernie and I hang out with probably the most famous trophy in sports.
And this came off Christie's car. It's the hood ornament she travels with. It's the Borg Warner Trophy for winning the Indy 5. Look at that thing.
It's amazing. It's good stuff. We'll be talking about that coming up. But first, before we let you go, take a look at some of the drivers that you need to know this weekend. And welcome back to the Grand Premiere here live on a Friday night in downtown Detroit from Campus Martius. And you are looking over the race course that we are going to be watching IndyCar racing on Sunday through the streets of downtown Detroit. Joining us now is Mark Royce, of course, with General Motors. Mark, we just grabbed you and pulled you right on over.
I know. I know. I'm not prepared. I just came down here with my three ladies here. My two daughters and my wife. It was wonderful. So thank you.
You know, and we just gave you a microphone.
I know.
But go ahead and tell us about again seeing the racing back in downtown Detroit like this and the effort that has been undergone here.
Well, it's been a long time. You know, I grew up seeing Formula One here in the city, and we brought it back. You know, Bud and myself and Roger, we brought the series back to Belle Isle, which was great, and did a lot of investment in Belle Isle, which was great. But now here, the economic impact we're going to have here is just phenomenal. So I drove the circuit this morning with Bud. We were the first cars on.
Interesting. So how fast did you go?
About 125.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what were you?
Our new Z06 pace
the
car.
Corvette.
Yeah. So it was great. Our Corvette. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's fantastic. But it's really it's a challenging circuit, and the drivers I think are very excited for something new.
Yeah.
And you know, just the amount of people, you know, 50% can come up and watch the race, which is a big deal. So it's electric for the city, and I'm so happy that Bud and Roger and Team Penske and Chevrolet have invested in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel it too. The electricity's in the air. So we heard a rumor, and tell us if this is true or not, that when this idea came together, you had to get many of the roads resurfaced and repaved. You called the governor and said, "Fix the damn roads," and she said, "Okay."
I mean, I was listening to the radio this morning. Bud Denker said, "We fixed the damn roads."
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
he said that?
Now Bud's going to run for office.
Yeah,
That's right.
it was great.
That's right.
So yeah, we did a lot of grinding, and you know, the manhole covers are welded, and so you know, it's a nice track. It really is.
So for all of us who are not race car drivers, but we always look for a little performance out of our vehicles,
Right.
what would you give us some hints and driving tips? Because there's a lot of the corners. There's some pretty tough corners.
There
on
is.
This course.
There's a couple of corners that I think there's going to be a little passing, but there's some things you got to hit. It's a chute, okay? Coming onto the river, you see the water, and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, there's a water, and I got to brake hard and take a hard left. So it's wonderful. Yeah, it really is. You know, we're gonna auction off something very special tonight too, which is our E-Ray Corvette.
Nice.
Yeah, our first electrified Corvette. So
yes.
That's an all-wheel drive vehicle and it's 655 horsepower. So we're looking forward to that and getting people into that as well.
Yeah.
Who drove this morning when you and Bud went on the track?
I did.
You did?
I did.
And how long did it take you to peel Bud off the back when you finished?
Bud was filming it.
No.
Where can we see that?
I know, well, it's on my iPhone.
Is it on your social media?
Yeah, no, it's pretty awesome. So it was really
I love
fun
it.
day.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, let me ask you while we've got you here.
Sure.
Explain to us where you think the love affair with the automobile is today when we're undergoing so much transformation in the industry.
It is a transformation, and you know, the electrification transformation for GM is big.
Yeah.
But we're not leaving our traditional customers on our internal combustion engine vehicles behind. We're not doing that. So the tail is long, but 50%, roughly 50% of the new buyers are considering electric vehicles. So we got to be part of that, and we are. So the new Lyriq for Cadillac, the new Celestiq flagship, the Hummer, and then we move into the mass market with Equinox and Blazer. So there's a Blazer sitting right over there. So I was happy to see that.
Nice. You're like, all right, product placement. We're going to work on that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's exciting. I think the love affair to your question is alive and well. I mean, people buy a vehicle. It's probably the biggest or the second biggest disposable income that they spend, and they're passionate about it. It represents who they are. It's a brand they want to be seen in.
Yep.
So that there's nothing that's changed with that, and young people love it too. I mean, that whole thing where I'm not sure young people really want to be in a car anymore. That's baloney. I mean, I can tell you that statistically, but also my two young daughters love cars and love driving.
Why.
I was going to say.
Maybe a little biased, but it still represents freedom.
It does, and that's what it is. It's freedom.
Freedom is, and the passion around freedom and the American roads. That's still alive and well.
I remember my oldest son when he drove up the driveway for the first time. He was 16 by himself, and we looked and went. When he came back,
it's all terrifying. It's all terrifying.
Exactly.
What was your first car, Mark?
My first car was a 1967 Camaro that my dad and I went down to where he's from, which is in southern Illinois, and bought it for $1,300 and brought it back and redid it.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was great. So a lot of good memories there. Yeah.
Well, you were terrific. It was just great having you on and chatting and everything
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Because the economic impact of this is going to be felt for years and years and years.
It is.
And all these everybody. I mean, the charities are taking care of it.
The charities and the small businesses.
Right.
All that. And we bring, the STEM pieces of this. Don't underestimate it. We expose young people, from Detroit Public Schools and everything else to automobiles and technology and all that. So.
Yeah. Well, Mark Royce, General Motors. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Have a great night, and we'll take the microphone back from you now.
Thank you very much.
You have to stand here till the commercial break.
Exactly. And we'll be right back with more coverage of the grand premiere right here in Campus Martius in downtown Detroit tonight. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Thank you both.
Welcome back. If you are heading downtown for the Detroit Grand Prix this weekend, here's what you should expect. The 1.7-mile, 9-turn course takes you along some of the most iconic spots in the Motor City. It starts down Jefferson Avenue, then loops back around. Drivers make a sharp right and head down Bates toward the Detroit River. They'll head down Atwater and along the river, and then they'll go past the Rensen to Franklin and Rivard. And they'll do that 100 times before making it to the finish line. If you want to watch, grandstands 1 and 9 next to the finish line are free on a first-come basis. You will find fun activities all weekend at Spirit Plaza, Hart Plaza, and along the Riverwalk. And in Cadillac Square, you can grab a bite from food trucks or shop at dozens of small business stands. The green flag waves at 3 Sunday afternoon, and you can watch the race live on Local 4. All right, and joining me now, Trish Allen and Andrew Carroll from PPG, one of the big sponsors here of the grand premiere tonight. It is so good to see both of you. Enjoying a beautiful night in downtown Detroit, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so go ahead and talk about how the sponsorship started. And Trish, let me start with you.
Oh boy, the sponsorship started, actually it's a very robust history with the PPG Pace car, and it started back in 1980 with, I think it was the IndyCar World, I want to say maybe World Series, but it was with IndyCar.
Right.
And we went almost 20 years with the Pace car, and it actually is a little different than what we're doing today, but it actually, we would work with different manufacturers, and they would develop maybe some new, some one-off like makes and models to actually feature some of our colors on the cars. And it went through all of the series for, like I said, for about 20 years. So it's been a great history.
I mean, we love racing, we love the noise, but we do love the aesthetics of a beautiful car and the paint colors as well that go along with it. But Andrew, how is it then the support morphed throughout the years and what you're doing this year?
Yeah, so
You can go ahead and put that right up closer because it's a little loud here.
the way it morphed is, we really got into the automotive industry. I mean, PPG is much bigger. We protect and beautify the world with so many things in so many areas, whether it's architectural, construction, airplanes, boats, you name it. But we really got heavy in the automotive industry, and by displaying our beautification, because we want to protect and beautify, we were one of the first to really eliminate corrosion on the cars with some of the new technology we had back in the 80s and 90s, and it just evolved from there. And now with all of the colors, we really want to showcase what we can do on the beautification side as well. Just like that fire truck that's coming.
Again, and we are live here tonight. Trish, real quick before we go, tell us about some of the artwork and bringing in students.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So the students part was with the IndyCar Street Project, which we actually did last year. And so we collaborated with the Detroit Grand Prix. The students were able to just take their creativity, teamwork, and build some real creative and paint the prototypes that we have around the city now. It was a great project, and we're so proud of it.
Well, you know what? It's a fantastic night. Thanks so much for joining me, and really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the evening, okay?
Thank you very much.
It's good to see you. Enjoy. Jamie, we're going to send it over to you.
Hey there, guys. I'm joined by Michelle Gardner, the chair of the event, and I'm telling you, we did not call each other and put our outfits on, but I think you look fantastic.
We did a nice job. You look great, too.
I love a flowy dress, right?
Exactly.
All right, Michelle, chair of this event. I mean, maybe 700 people coming here. What an endeavor, and what's most important to you at the end of this night?
The most important thing is that we raise a lot of money for our charities, and we were able to expand our charities this year and include more, but even still with the Belle Isle Conservancy, which is one that we've had for many years. But this year we've added more in, and they're all great. I love the fact that we brought the Michigan Humane Society in and really tried to do the fund a cause with them and get people to really give money to a really good program that they've got going on where they try to keep dogs in the people's homes. So I just really hope by the end of the night we've got a lot of money to give to these charities and bring people back down to Detroit. So I'm excited with the race coming back down to Detroit too, that we're going to be able, the people are going to be able to see the great things that we have down here.
I was wondering why there was a kitten here, and it's all you're doing, and I like it because, I'm an animal lover as well. And there's something with these cars, right, too, that can raise some money?
Yeah, so we're going to auction off a E-Ray, which is our electrified Corvette, and you can drive these in the snow. These are really cool, and we're going to auction.
You're telling me that thing's good in the snow?
That good thing is good in the snow.
Well, you would know. What are you, Vice President of Engineering?
I am.
Yeah, okay. So auctioning off cars, raising money for a good cause. You guys must love that this is returned to the streets of Detroit.
We are really excited about it. Belle Isle was wonderful, but again, it's just excited to get it back down in the city so everybody can enjoy everything the city has to offer. It's an amazing place.
All right, Michelle, you have wonderful taste in dresses. Thank you for joining me. Back to Bernie and Christy.
All right, thank you, Jamie. And we are joined by the Grand Poobah of auto racing. And I do mean the grand, majestic Poobah. Roger Penske's here. First of all, let's talk about 2 weeks ago before we get to this magnificent thing. You win the Indy 500 with Joseph,
right? And
he wins it. It's on your track that you own. Is that more of a home field advantage?
I guess you'd call that my home track. Yeah, right. It was interesting. Not being involved running the cars anymore as I have for so many years. I was up on top of the pagoda, and I guess for the first 198 laps I was a track owner. The last 2 laps I was a car owner. So that was a great weekend for us. The men and women in the military, the first responders, and what we do for our country, that we could give back and have that great sensation there at the track was pretty special for me.
What was your heart like on that last lap when Newgarden overtook him?
I just saw him make the pass. I said, what's going to happen now coming off of 4? And I heard him say on the radio, clear by 1. That's all we needed.
So we're sharing space here with the Borg Warner Trophy. How does a driver regroup after a win like that and then going into another race? You've got the highs and the highs, but all of a sudden you got to get back to work.
You got to ask Joseph Newgarden, man. Listen, knowing Joseph, he'll be on it. No, listen, these guys come off of Indianapolis as such a high. It's so much for their character, for their brand, and also them personally. And I think that he'll do great here this weekend. We had some good running on the track today, and tomorrow we qualify. But look, I say these are athletes. They're ready to go when it's time to drop the green flag.
Let's talk about this magnificent event and everything that's happened and moving it downtown. And we had Bud on a few minutes ago, asked him about initially, did you get any pushback? He said no, everybody really was in favor of trying to do this.
It's amazing. It's a team effort. When you think about the mayor, city council, and all the people, think about the roads, the city, the state, the county, and General Motors all owned a piece of that racetrack. So to pull it all together, but we've had everybody lean in on this. It's for the city, free for people to come down for the race, which is really, you don't see that anywhere in the country. But I think we're giving it back to the community and just taking Detroit's head, putting it up above all these other cities by having it downtown. We love it. And I think Detroit's going to get a big benefit out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it really is going to be a magnificent postcard and advertisement to the rest of the world when they see the city on display this weekend. And you talked about how it's just kind of stacking slowly about what the city is doing.
Well, I think back at Super Bowl time, remember, everybody had a ticket and they came downtown and went to the game. There was nobody here. Yeah. But now we have someone downtown, and I think that this shows you that we have a city, we have people that care about it, and people want to live downtown here, and I think it's... we all win, and I say we stack a penny at a time, and it's all of us working together.
You really are. I want to ask you yourself personally. I think you're like 48 or 40. You have the energy of a 48-year-old or a 38-year-old or somewhere in there, but does the excitement still reach you? Do you still have it in the pit?
Well, I guess what I do, I set a goal and try to achieve it, and you try to go a little bit higher each time. Listen, I'm motivated every day because of the people, Bud Denker and Mike Montre, and the people, and all the people who are involved in this event. You got to give them the credit. I mean, Bud came to me, said, what do you think? I said, you own it, now let's go. So he's owning it, and he's got it so far, he's done a hell of a job.
So we were just talking to Mark Royce, and he told us that he and Bud took a couple wings around the track. Have you had an opportunity to do that, or?
Well, I walked the track probably the first time. I've been all over it, not in a vehicle today, but Mark and Bud, they inaugurated the track early this morning. I heard him out there, but smile on Mark's face when he got out was amazing. Think about it. General Motors building, headquarters, and he's driving a race car around.
It's unbelievable.
It's amazing. Only here.
But this setting is amazing. It's unbelievable. And we talked about the economic impact with Mark and others also. You must feel great when you're able to do something like this to the city you love.
You say me, but it's about all of you guys included. I mean, this is an effort that we all know where we want to go here in this country, and I feel so strong about it. What I've been able to achieve, myself personally, our family, and our company, is because we worked with people and we try to give something back, and that's what we're all doing here in Detroit.
No question.
All right, Roger Penske, thanks so much for joining us here tonight, and congratulations on this entire event and weekend.
We're making a date with you next year, same place, same time. Great.
That's right.
There you go. Commitment, that's what we want.
It's a promise. And we are here live in Campus Martius for the grand premiere right here in downtown Detroit on Local 4 Plus. Stay with us. We will be right back.
All right, guys.
Great seeing you.
And welcome back live to the grand premiere right here in downtown Detroit, Campus Martius. You never know who you're going to run into at an event like this. And Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist, it's great to see you.
I'm great to So happy to be here. I'm excited to be here. It's a beautiful night. Still daytime, but it's going to be a beautiful night. But my wife and I are proud to come and celebrate.
So talk to us what it means to have this race in downtown Detroit and really accessible.
Honestly, this is nostalgic for me. I spent the first half of my childhood downtown, right here in Elmwood Park. My mother used to bring me to the Blue Cross building to watch the race downtown from the roof. My dad, who worked in the McNamara building, would bring me to watch it from his office. So
you can't forget that noise.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah?
And I can't wait to bring my kids down here to see it downtown with me on Sunday. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we heard a rumor, and see, maybe you can clear it up. And we asked Bud Denker, but he played dumb. But that when they started this and wanting to bring it downtown, they called the mayor, they called the governor and said, we need you to fix the damn roads, and they fixed the roads, and now you have a track. Any truth to that?
Well, as someone who drives that part of Jefferson every day to drop off my baby at the Renaissance Center daycare, it's a little smoother.
And you're like, I don't have a problem with that. You won't be driving 185 miles an hour down there, but you know.
The Detroit Police Department doesn't want me to drive that fast.
That's right. They're going to stop you. But hey, we've talked a lot about the economic investment, and as well as really showing off to the world what Detroit is and is offering so many people right now, what this weekend is.
The Grand Prix is a cultural institution. It's an iconic event for Detroit. It's been here for decades, and we're excited to, I think, breathe new life into it by bringing it back to its roots. And so, you know, when the governor and I talk about the cultural investments that we support, this is exactly what we're doing. And it also represents an investment in infrastructure, an investment in more cultural programming surrounding the race, support for philanthropic organizations that are doing great work in the community, seeing our young people who are going to be experiencing this for the first time in a successful way. Like, it's everything that we want to see from companies that are coming together to put on an event like this.
All right, Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist, we're going to go let you have some fun now.
I'm looking forward to it.
You get to go have some fun.
Thanks,
all right,
Good
thanks so much.
Good to see you.
Let's toss it over to you. Hey, Jamie.
Hey there, Christy, Bernie. I have a hot driver here in terms of you've won this race before here in Detroit. Can you do it again on this track?
Oh, I hope so. I mean, it feels a bit like the Nashville track we had last year, so I think there'll be a lot of restarts and yellows. Yeah, pretty nuts track, pretty crazy, pretty cool to have the Renaissance Center in the center of it.
But you're not looking at that thing when you're driving around.
You're definitely not looking at that thing when you're driving around, but for the fans and people to have somewhere to sort of hang out, there's plenty of restaurants and food in there, so it's a much better location than Belle Isle. I don't think the track's probably as technical, but we're putting on a show and we want fans to come, so I think it's going to be a better event overall.
This is the first time you got to drive the track. You guys have done the simulators, and I talked to Pato O'Ward before your practice, and he called it gnarly. Would you second that?
Yeah, I would actually. It's quite gnarly. Yeah, pretty action-packed, like all the way around. Like, you're just scraping walls, the bumps. It's a hard track. It's very tough.
What about that dual pit lane? How do you know when the other guy's pulling out?
I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting if everyone has a pit at the same time under yellow, how the merge will go.
It's not like you're going to be like, please go ahead of me.
No, that's the problem in this series. It's so tough now. Everyone's just trying to get every inch. So, yeah, probably some incidents.
Incidents, all right. So we might have some yellows. We might have some red flags. No problem.
Yeah.
You jumped in the fountain on Belle Isle when you won it here. Now what do you guys do to celebrate?
I know. I don't know how you better that fountain. That's one of the best podiums in motorsport around the world. So
you don't want to go in the river. I'm just telling you. You're not from here. I want to give you that.
I know. I've asked a few people. They're like, nah, it's not that clean. You're going to end up a mile down the road.
Yeah, right.
So you need someone to pick you up. So I said, let's just get a big blow-up pool. I'll jump in that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, we'll go to Costco for you.
Yeah.
One last question. When Penske wins, like Joseph Newgarden did for the Indy 500, do you all win, or? Yeah.
Definitely not. I mean, I'm extremely happy for Roger and all the people in the team that put it together, but we individually, it becomes an individual sport once you get out on track. We work together off the track, so I mean, it's great to see the team win, honestly. But you want to win it. I mean, it's the biggest race of the year.
Of course. That's why there's going to be some incidents on that dual pit lane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we're competitive people, race car drivers.
All right, one last serious question. When you're named Will Power, do you have to become a race car driver? I mean, you're destined?
Either that or you give up smoking or something. It's just to live up to your name. But Yeah, I don't know what my parents were thinking. I don't know what they were thinking.
I think it's cool.
I want to be William. That's my name, William. So I'm kind of like, the older I've got, the more I'm like, I wish I'd just been William.
All right, William Power, thank you for joining me here in this gala, and we'll see you on the track, and maybe in a baby pool.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Jamie, with William Power.
Yeah.
This is Scott McLaughlin from New Zealand. Did you drive today? Did you test the track?
Yeah, we did. You were out there, punched a lot of laps out, but yeah, feel good. You know, it's awesome. Nice little vibe here in town now. You know, Belle Isle was great. It wasn't kind to me for a couple of years, but it's awesome to be downtown in Detroit, and you just feel the buzz in the city. It's really cool.
You're ready for Sunday?
Oh yeah. It's going to be warm one. I got to make sure that I can keep getting my my fluids up and stuff, but we're good.
Is it the great equalizer that no one has driven on this track before, and so it's like, all right, this is it. We're all in the same place.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, I think for us, it's a fantastic equalizer, especially for rookies and stuff. This is my 4th season, so fantastic to be able to just, you know, level the playing field a little bit, and you might see some spice up the front, a few different drivers that haven't been there before, which is exciting. So, but yeah, I'm excited for what's a great inaugural weekend, and hopefully I'll win the first one.
They just took the Borg Warner Trophy away. I know you're kind of like watching it go. So you said you have a super. You'll never touch it.
No.
Until you win it.
Until I win it, I don't touch trophies till I win it. So I stand. That's probably the closest I've actually ever stood next to the Borg. So, but my teammate won it last weekend, which is fantastic for him and the team, and hopefully I can add to that history in Penske.
What was Joseph like after the race, after he'd won it on Rogers' course?
Well, it was, a buzz. When you win the biggest race of the year and the biggest race of your life, it's a big deal. And we had a drink after the race, and he's one of my good friends, and just really proud of him. Obviously, I'm a little bit disappointed it wasn't me.
Yeah.
But if someone was going to win it, I'm glad it was him. And it was his 12th attempt. So to win on your 12th attempt, your first time, is pretty special.
What do you guys do to kind of blow off steam? But obviously you have to get right back into preparing for another race. What is that like?
Oh, look, right now I'm, initially through the week I was a little bit disappointed with how my run went, but you straight away focused on this event. But even now after the first practice, I'm talking to you guys right now, but I'm thinking about what I want to do with the car and where we're going to go with it. So, but that's the part about being the race driver. Sponsors and commercial partners are really important. You got to show up to these events and make sure that because that's how you go racing and provide for the fans. So it's a big juggling act, but that's part of your job.
Yeah. I have a question. So if you go to the store and you need like a loaf of bread or something, do you follow the speed limit or you go a little fast?
Yeah, everyone. I've had that question a few times, but I'm pretty good.
We all want to know.
Yeah, no, I'm very good. So there's nothing better after you're driving 185, 190 mile an hour. You can just hit the cruise limit at 55 and just enjoy it. Maybe jump in the slow lane. There's no pressure, so I enjoy it.
All right. So is there any parts of the course that you're thinking like, I got to really be careful of this turn here, or the straightaway is going to be money place for passing?
Yeah, there's a lot of spots here. It's very bumpy, this track, so you got to really think about where you position the car, but being a new track, it's everything is new. You're thinking about every spot, so it is what it is. Same for everyone, and hopefully we do a better job than everyone tomorrow.
Right. Fast start. Got to have a fast start Sunday.
Oh yeah, fast start. Get going. Hopefully start at the front and. Yeah, say goodbye to everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's it.
That's about it.
Mail that in. You got to win. Yeah,
exactly.
You'll get one of those big trophies. You get to take it home.
I would love that.
They'll find something here.
I would love that.
Scott McLaughlin, thanks so much for joining us. It's good to see you.
Good luck Sunday.
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
All right, and you are watching us live here on Local 4 Plus, streaming tonight from downtown Detroit for the grand premiere. We're going to head on over to Jamie Edmonds and see who she's got to talk to. Hey, Jamie.
Hi, yes, now I have Mike Lambert. Don't call him Michael. You're the sponsor of the event. And I mean, how proud are you to look around and see what's happening here?
Jamie, if last weekend, Memorial Day, was the unofficial kickoff to summer here in Detroit with race cars roaring down the streets, this has to be it. And I love what the Grand Prix is bringing to the city with as much seating as they're making available to anyone. It's accessible, it's available, and I hope that this broadcast and other events like it bring folks downtown, because it really is a wonderful time to see everything that's taking place here in our city.
Yeah, it's really exciting what's happening in Detroit, this being one of it. Talk about why your company wanted to be a sponsor here.
Well, PwC we're a big proponent of Detroit. We're proud of our Detroit roots, and this is our hometown. And so this is an opportunity for us to showcase some of what we are most proud of, which is cars and fashion and music and all the things that really bring Detroit together. So for us, this is an important piece. It's part of business, but for us, it's really just a chance to give back to the community, because tonight's event benefits 5 major charities. Yes, still on in Belle Isle with the Belle Isle Conservancy, but also 4 charities right here in the city, and that's frankly near and dear to my heart as someone who grew up in this area. It just makes all the difference in the world for us to give back at the same time.
Do you know what charities? Could you tell us?
Now you're gonna
I put him on the spot.
On the spot. No, I've got a list, and I actually recorded a video where I had to lay them all out. But no, in this case, at the moment, it's live TV. I'm
sure it's worthy.
They are.
Yeah.
And they're all youth oriented, right? So education or athletics, which is something that, again, just to bring more folks into the city so that they feel a part of something, they feel belong to something. I know I feel a tie to PwC. I want everyone to feel a part of this city. I look around right now and I think my wife and I, our first date was over there, and my first ball game with my son was over there, and my daughter had a dance recital at Ford Auditorium, so it means a lot for me to be able to be down here and to celebrate this evening.
I love that. You just ended on such a high note. You are a Detroiter through and through. Mike,
yes,
thank
Jamie,
you for joining us.
Pleasure. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Bernie, Christy, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Jamie. You know, we've actually heard a lot about this man who's joining us right now tonight from Roger Penske, Bud Denker, and also Mark Royce. Mike Monti, thanks so much for joining us, and congratulations. This is really, you're putting on this this event, not only just a race, but an event in downtown. So what's it like to see everything come to fruition right now?
It's been incredibly gratifying. No, I appreciate the kudos, and thank you for saying that. It's been a long road, and we're just excited to get on with it here in the weekend.
Yeah.
Were you part of the group that brought this to Roger, or did Bud go first and then you came in? And also, how did you guys strong-arm everything into this happening? And excuse, I'm not very good at the English language, but go ahead.
No, that's okay. Yeah. Bud and I really thought about it in Nashville when they had the first race in Nashville in IndyCar, and thought about bringing this to Detroit and really back home to where the Grand Prix was born in Detroit. Mm-hmm. He took it to Roger.
Smart move.
I let
Mike.
him do that.
Exactly.
But after that, it was him and I running, side by side through the entire community process, business process, and we had a lot of people there in a very short amount of time, and we were so pleasantly surprised that everybody was so excited about it. Nostalgia is a high bar, but we're shooting for it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember coming down to see Formula One when I was young. My dad brought me down, and we were in the Rensen, and seeing that and remembering that and knowing that there might be some new racing fans here this weekend that you're making in the city of Detroit with the access of it and everything. Can you talk a little bit about the growth of the sport and where it's at?
Well, you said it best. We're looking to have events, not just races.
Yeah.
We want people to come down that may have never seen a race, maybe don't even care about racing, but they might get hooked, right? They see it, it's exciting, right? It's a beautiful
I love the
sport.
sound.
Yeah,
I love
the
the sound.
Yeah. It's just as an adrenaline bump. So we're looking to grow the sport in that way, and we're looking to do that through our events. We've got to have great events. Cities need great events, and Detroit needs to be a great event city.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better than the vibrant downtown area to make an entire city come together. I mean, this is really what you're doing here.
Well, you can't replicate what we have behind us here. You can't replicate what we're doing over there on Jefferson. The backdrop, you just can't create that. Those only happen in the middle of cities, and that's what makes IndyCar racing so special. They take place, and a lot of times, right in the middle of a city, and it's exciting.
What was the one thing that you saw, kind of the last puzzle piece going into place this week, that you're like, all right, we're really doing this. This is really happening.
I'll tell you, Wednesday, when the transporters of all the teams started coming in and loading into the parking lot that we call the paddock, it's really the locker room for our sport, it got real. It got real pretty quickly. So that was really kind of the moment.
Have you seen anything that you would change immediately for next year?
Absolutely. You always learn. You always learn.
We were waiting for absolutely not. I know.
No, you always learn from your first event.
Yeah,
we definitely have notes. We'll have our recap meeting on Tuesday morning when it's all fresh, and we'll figure out how we're going to improve it next year.
Yeah. What's a couple of things that you're looking forward to personally this weekend?
I am looking forward to seeing the waterfront, the Riverwalk, just jam-packed for Victory Lane on Sunday. We purposely put it in a free area so that we could get as many people there as wanted to be, and I think it's going to be absolutely fabulous. So that's really the main thing I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and and can you believe the Riverfront Conservancy is celebrating their 20th year, and just to see what has all happened and transpired along the riverfront and how it's been built up in a way that people can enjoy it in green spaces is really amazing to see it all coming together with an event like this.
No doubt. Mark Wallace and his team have done a great job through the years.
I saw him over there.
Yeah, he's here
head
tonight.
of the Riverfront Conservancy is here.
Yeah, and they've been great partners for us too. That's one other thing about a downtown race. There's a lot of stakeholders. We touch a lot of people on that race course. City, state, General Motors, Riverfront, and they've all been great partners.
And nobody wants to take credit. Everybody goes, well, this group did it, and this group did it, and this group did it. But I guess it has to be a group effort to make this happen.
No doubt.
You should be really proud. Great.
Mike, give us the big pitch. Tell people to come on down this weekend for all of the events.
Do your best, Vince McMahon. Do your pro wrestling. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. No, I think, look, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, the weather is going to be perfect.
Right.
Whether you like racing or not, think of it as opening day for the Tigers. That's kind of how I'm thinking of it.
Yeah.
Come on down, enjoy the atmosphere. You don't have to love racing, but we'd like you to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So come on down and take a look.
It's going to be wonderful. Thanks so much. Congratulations for all you've done so far.
Great job.
And stay with us. The grand premiere right here live on Local 4 Plus from Campus Martius. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Grand Premiere, and I have a very special guest. It would be the Grand Marshal for this weekend's races, John Marshall, 41st anniversary, June 6, 1982. You remember that date and what happened?
Remember very well, Jamie. It was a special day for me, an unexpected day because I started in the middle of the pack. The race began, then the race was stopped because there had been an accident. Then the race recommenced, and I made my way up through the field, and I started to drive actually quicker than anybody else. And I wasn't doing anything special. Just on the day, the car was so dialed into the racetrack, and I was working with the car, and I was catching and overtaking, and on a circuit, some of my contemporaries said, you can't overtake at Detroit. It's impossible to overtake it. In one lap, I overtook 3 of my competitors.
So not impossible.
It was very possible. It was just a matter of deciding to do it, not thinking it's impossible. Positive thought, particularly that day.
That is so amazing. So 41 years ago, you won the very first race here in Detroit, asked to be the Grand Marshal, and you're humble. You said, why me? I think it's a perfect choice for coming back to the streets of Detroit.
I think it is too, but I'm a very self-effacing kind of person, and I could think there must be many, many people more worthy to carry that title, that honor of being Grand Marshal. So when it was suggested, I went, that's a big sort of honor, and but I accepted it, and I'm here, and I'm having a fantastic time. And I think Detroit has turned on. I mean, in the 40, I was here in '83 as well. In the 40 years since I've been here, I can't believe the changes that I've seen in Detroit. But bringing the race back to the streets, bringing the race to the people, rather than the people having to go to the race, I think that's what's made this event so special, so exciting. And I mean, I know when I was a kid, I went to motor racing as about 8 or 9 or 10, and I had a dream. I wanted to be a race driver. There'll be children here, boys, girls, who'll be inspired by all the competitors in all the categories, and they'll go home and they'll say, Mom or Dad, whatever, I want to be a racing driver. And they'll say, no, don't be silly, darling. You want to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, a proper profession. Don't listen to your mom and dad. If you want to be a racing driver, stick at it, because if you work hard enough, you'll achieve it.
And you could win a race just like you did 41 years ago. We can't wait to see you as the Grand Marshal. Thank you for joining me. We're going to, you toss it to break. Say, back to break.
Well, I think we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you.